Hi guys, it's been really cold outside, so I decided I'm going to make some potato soup. But with the potato soup, I'm also going to make some cheese bread. So I want to share that recipe with you. Thanks to Brooke Irvin. She is found on Facebook as well, and I'll tag her in my video. So I have 1.5 cups of water, and I'm going to be using instant yeast for this. With instant yeast, you want your temperature anywhere between 120 and 130 degrees. So I just poured this in here, and it's at 127 degrees. If you're going to be using regular yeast, then you want that more or less about 110 degrees. So with that, I have my instant yeast here, and I'm going to go ahead and add 2¼ teaspoons of instant yeast into there. There's 1, 2, and that's about a quarter. If you add a little bit extra, that's fine. So let me go ahead and put that aside. So with my yeast, I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. Her recipe doesn't have any sugar in it, but I am going to go ahead and add some sugar. Okay, just kidding, hold on. All right, I'm back. That sugar containers, I overloaded it with sugar, so it wasn't coming out. I'm adding, I don't know, like 2 teaspoons of sugar. And that just helps to activate the yeast a little faster. Now, I am using instant yeast, so it should activate pretty quickly. But, and even though it activates right away, I'm still going to go ahead and let it sit here for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to get my flour and stuff ready, and then I'll show you what I'll do next. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and I forgot that I actually have a conference call in 7 minutes. So let's try to hurry up and do this. All right, so I have my instant yeast sitting here for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add to this 3¼ cups of flour. Now, you can use all-purpose flour, but I like to use bread flour when I'm making bread because it has a higher protein level and just makes the bread a little bit chewier. So I've got that in. I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm just going to eyeball it. You add more, you add less, that's fine. I'll add a little bit more. It's about 1½ teaspoons. And then you can stop here. That's really the base of the bread, this, and then adding some cheese in. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of extra seasoning, and forgot to open these. I just bought this at where was I at? I think I was at Costco. So this is Kinder's Spicy Garlic Crunch. I'm gonna add a big old gob of that, maybe. And then I've got garlic butter. And I'm gonna add about an equal amount of that. Oops. And then I'm gonna add some chives. About, I don't know, a tablespoon that I just added. Add some chives. I'll add some onion powder. And then let me grab a spoon real quick. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add some minced jarred garlic, like a gob. Hey, you don't have to add any of this if you don't want to, but I like it. I think it comes out way more flavorful. And we're gonna go ahead and kind of stir this around real quick. Get this all mixed up as much as we can. And you'll notice that it looks kind of like a shaggy dough. That's fine. We don't really necessarily need to knead this dough, but we are going to kind of compress it together a little bit. Now I have some cheese that's already cut. I'm going to add that's about what, a cup? Add as much cheese as you want. Or if you don't have cheese, don't put cheese. Lactose intolerant, don't put cheese. But it's just really good cheese, you know. So I added about a cup and a half, cup and a quarter maybe of cheese. You can add more or less. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put some olive oil on my hands so it won't stick as bad. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna plop this over on our work space here. We're just gonna kind of push it all together. We want that flour to be absorbed by that water. So let's just kind of push this together. So I said no kneading, it's kind of kneading a little bit, but all we want to do is just make sure that we get everything kind of pushed together. That's it. So let's push this all together. Now you have a big old glob, which is fine. And then I'm just going to use the same work bowl that I was using. And I'm going to add a whole bunch of olive oil in there. And this is just to make sure that the dough doesn't really stick. So I'll just kind of rub that around a little bit. And then I'm going to put it in here. Just plop it in. And we're going to let this rise. Now, there's nothing hot on top of my stove. I am an old woman. I'm over 50 years old, and I do not like the heat. So my house is cold. Therefore, I did turn on the oven at a low setting. It's about 185. And there's some heat coming out of here, but it's not too close to the vents here. So I have some heat coming out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and top that over with a towel. Now, I do like to wet my towel in warm water, and then I'm just gonna put that over. And we're gonna let that sit for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, probably like an hour and a half, maybe even an hour, I don't know. I'm actually gonna get started on this conference call, and then I have to get started on the potato soup, and then I'll be back with you in a few minutes. Okay, so my bread did rise a little bit, and it's been sitting in there for about an hour and a half. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some olive oil to my quote Dutch oven. I don't have a Dutch oven, so I'm using whatever I have. And I actually preheated this Dutch oven for a little bit in the oven. Let's see something. I had to go back and turn on my oven because I accidentally turned it off. So I'm going to go ahead and put this bread in here. We're just going to plop it in. And we're going to cover it with its lid. And then we're going to go ahead and cook it or bake it. We're going to bake it at about 400 for about 20 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some flaky sea salt to the top. If you have this, that's fine, or you could add some little bit of regular salt, but you don't need to. So add some flaky sea salt, and then we're going to cover it and bake. Okay, so I just took my cheese bread out of the oven, and it looks delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over onto a rack. Well, actually, it's a little sticky. Hold on. Okay, it's not sticky. It's sticking to the sides a little bit. So let's just go ahead and help it out a little bit. You know, I forgot to put frickin' parchment paper. I hope it's not burned on the bottom. I'm like, why is it sticking? It never sticks. And it's because I forgot the parchment paper. I have training tomorrow, and I've got to be up at 3 in the morning. So like I'm kind of a little a mess. I always do this to myself. I always do too much, like when I have other stuff to do. Okay, I've got my bread knife. So it's not bad. It's not burned. It's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right down the middle. And I cooked it for 20 minutes at 450 degrees. And then I uncovered it, and then I cooked it for another 10 minutes. And this is what I got. It's actually perfect. Look at that. Woo! It's hot too. So, it's a little crispy on the bottom, a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and serve myself some soup, and then we'll be right back. Okay, I've got some soup. I'm gonna go ahead and put some cheese. I don't want too much. And then a little bit of sour cream. This has so much dairy in it, and I'm actually a little bit lactose intolerant. So it's gonna be a good night for me. Luckily, I'm not married, so I don't have anybody that has to suffer through. And then I have some dried chives. If I had fresh chives, I'd use it, but I don't. So some dried chives. And then I have my bread. Taste it. Oh, it's good. I'm only gonna get a little piece though. It's very garlicky. So, bon appetitas. Let me try it. It is so good. You have to try this, y'all. I got like cheese. It's delicious. Okay, bye.